Hello and welcome to Connected with Krissy. Today it's just me again, Krissy Vaine, and I am going to talk to you guys about something that I feel like is very, very important right now for the collective. I've been feeling this for the last few months. I actually tried to do a video a few weeks ago about this very subject, but I just felt like it was a little shadowy still, so I needed to sit with it a little bit longer. And not that I mind shadows, my natal chart is full of Scorpio, so I love the shadows, but I think it's important to come with this information when I have clarity, when I'm nice and calm, when the weather's beautiful, when the sun is shining, and come at you with as pure intent as I possibly can for this particular message, because this is going to bring up a lot of triggers for people. So what we're going to talk about today is childhood trauma and breaking generational cycles. So with that being said, we're going to go through some tips and some tricks to help you get past, whatever it may be that you went through in your childhood, with your family, with friends of the family, just potentially even in school with bullying. So this video is really to help us get past that, because I feel like so many of us are stuck in our 5-year-old self or our 10-year-old self that was told that maybe we're not potentially good enough, or maybe we're not pretty enough, smart enough, popular enough, you don't have enough resources like money or whatever it may be. So we're going to really work on getting past that. And the reason why I want to talk about that today is because I've been getting the downloads for a few weeks now that the ancestors are like standing over our shoulders, like waiting. Somebody has to break the bonds. Somebody has to be the one to step into their power and bust it up and break it. Like, once our family members and our ancestors get over to the other side, they actually really see what's important. And so many of them didn't realize that over when they were on this side of the realm, on the earthly side, so many of them were persecuted for their powers, for their personal powers, which we are all born with. And so they get over there and they become our spirit guides and they become our helpers. And all they really, really want to see is for us to come into our true power. So I've been heavily working with generational cycles and breaking childhood conditioning the last few months. So for me, I was constantly told over and over and over that I wasn't as pretty as everyone told me that I was. I was not anything special. I would just be normal, and to just, become okay with being normal, which, by the way, none of us are normal. And that's like such a strange thing to say to a kid anyways, because none of us are normal. We're all special. We all have our superpowers. I was also always told that my mouth was going to get me in trouble and keep me in trouble. So over the last 10 years, as I've been working with this, studying with this, I'm learning that my voice is actually my biggest gift. And my voice, if I use it in not a shadowy way, if I use it, in a powerful, positive way, that my voice may very well activate and heal a lot of people. So that's why I'm coming to you with this information today, is so that we can all break these things together, and so that we can all move into a new earth. If you haven't read that Eckhart Tolle book, A New Earth, now's a great time to read it, because he talks about vibrations and how things are shifting and how things are changing, and what we can expect. And then I'm always giving tips, tricks, and that type of thing on my channels as well, on Instagram at magical.krissy, Facebook the same, and then of course here on the YouTube channel. So let me grab my little piece of paper, because I did channel some information before. Look at what Florida is doing to my hair. But I like to shoot outside, so I deal with like the 100-degree heat. So typically when I get on YouTube, before I go on, I sort of sit with myself and come out here into nature, come out here in the quiet and say, okay, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to talk about? Then I spirit write it down, and then I talk about it to you. So on childhood trauma and breaking generational cycles. The ancestors are behind you waiting. Can you feel them? I have seen so many of my Instagram followers that I communicate with, and so many of my social media friends posting memes, posting pictures, like talking about their ancestors, talking about their loved ones that have passed away, that are no longer here, that they feel as though they feel even more strongly right now. And I can say for me that that is 100% happening. Many of you know I am an intuitive and empath, and my thing is sort of working with indigo kids and bringing the shadows to light. So I am the only one in my family, to my knowledge, and of the people that I know that have been interested in esoteric arts and bringing sort of things to the surface. But I get my messages on my right. They stand here for me. They stand over my right shoulder. They kind of download the messages in my ear, and then it comes out, hopefully, in the way that it's supposed to, through my mouth. So over the past, I would say 8 weeks, they have been screaming at me, like, please, Kristen, be the one. Like, please be the one to start the YouTube show. Please be the one to speak this into existence. There have been many of us in the family with these same gifts, but we were either persecuted. My great aunt actually was placed in mental institutions and given shock therapy for years. So I feel them standing over me saying it stops with you. So I want to share that message. Like, it stops with us. We have all the tools that we need to be, create, have whatever it is that we want. So we have like these little, tiny computers in our hands that can broadcast us across the nations and across the world. And it's really, you've never had a better time to be an indigo child, to be a seer, to be a psychic, to be an intuitive, to be a healer. These are becoming real world jobs, and we need for you to step into that power. I had a regular job up until about 4 months ago, and even, gosh, my hair is like, oh Lord, this wind. I had a regular job until about 4 months ago, and it fell away, and I did not fight the process because I could feel that something bigger is on the other side of this for me. So I asked my guides, and you can do this too. You can kind of say, hey guys, put it out in front of me, what you want me to do next. Mine said, we want you to start a YouTube. We want you to share what you know. Your voice is your gift. Again, that's breaking that childhood trauma, because I was always told my mouth was going to get me in trouble. But no, I have been saying the mantra to myself, my voice is my gift. My voice is my gift. My voice is my gift. And I speak that into you right now. Whatever was told to you that you couldn't be what you wanted to be, or you couldn't be what you liked, I speak that out of you right now. I don't want you to let it go, because it's no longer serving your purpose. The ancestors are standing right here. They're standing over us. They're standing behind us, and they're giving us little baby pushes. You can feel it. You can feel them standing behind you. And it's just a faint whisper. So that's not your imagination. You're not a crazy person. That is real, because now is the time. Because 2020 is clear and perfect vision. For the first times in any of our adult life, or even if there's like younger, teenagers watching this, 2020 is clear vision. Things are falling apart that don't work, that don't fit the paradigm. Darkness is getting exposed. The darkness has to be exposed so that we can transmute it. but your work is needed right now. So listen to the ancestors, listen to the messages that they have to share with you, because they are, and they may be coming to you in your dreams. They just told me some of you are having dreams. Some of you are like me, you can feel them on your shoulder, like pushing you, guiding you. Like, pay attention to these messages and do like what I do. Keep your little spirit notebook and write down your little messages as they come by. At some point in the lineage, it has to stop, right? Like the abuse, the toxicity, the trauma. Like, your parents were only coming from where they knew, which was pain and suffering. So like, it has to stop. So guess what? That's why we're so strong. Have you ever wondered, like, why am I so strong? Why am I able to take on so much shit? Why am I able to endure? You are able to endure, darling, because you are meant to transmute and you are meant to transcend. Ooh, 1111 is when I hit transcend, darlings. That is what you are supposed to do. So that's why you're so tough. Your toughness is also your gift, because we need tough people right now. You got to endure. You got to rise up. You got to come into yourself. They're hollering and they're screaming. And we need you to rise up. So take yourself out of that victim mentality, that victim bullshit. Yeah, was it some bullshit? Speak from someone who knows. It was some bullshit. But why were you made so tough? How can you endure all that you have been through? It's because you got a purpose, darling. You have a purpose in this world, and they want you to step into it. So take yourself out of victimization. It's so important. Forgive. Like, let it go. Understand that all of that came because it was supposed to, because that's part of your soul contract. That's part of like what you came here to be a part of, because you needed to learn your lessons so that later on you could transcend that. And then you could get it out into the universe, because it's a message that everyone needs to hear. Everyone. And you are not small, you are large, you are omnipresent, you are a being of light. So take yourself out of victimization and look back and look at what happened, whether it was, verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, whatever it may have been. Look back at it and say to yourself, now on a soul contract level, why would I have signed myself up for that? Because that's when you start to get your power, is when you realize on a soul level, we all came here to do something. So guess what? Before we are to do that thing, we must go through the things that make us tough, that make us strong, that make us like iron women and iron men, able to handle anything. Because guess what? 2020, in the method of getting to the clear vision, is throwing us a lot of stuff. And if you get all twisted in the negativity, and if you get all twisted in the narrative, you are not going to be able to speak your truth and go upon your path. And that is what the powers that be want. So you have to get out of that victimization. You have to say, oh, what was it in my soul contract? What was it in my soul contract that I wanted to get past? For me, very verbal. It was physical too, but very verbal, like talk me down, tell me I'm not, worth anything. Tell me I'm not special. Tell me I'm not powerful. Tell me I'm not as pretty as everybody tells me that I am, just so that I could come into adulthood and say, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I am a beautiful goddess warrior. I am smart. My voice, not my mouth, my voice is going to make me $1 million. So what was that for you? What is that soul contract state for you? Because once you start to come into that soul's work, honey, it just keeps rolling. It just keeps rolling, and you can't even stop it. I started this 6 weeks ago, and it's just rolling. Like, nobody is even, I'm not even having any issues. People are just coming out of the woodwork. The messages are being downloaded. Now I have to make sure that my space and my temple is a pure vessel. But when I make sure my vessel is pure and I'm out of like all the negativity and out of victimization, then my vessel is pure and the message is like legit. So many were persecuted, but that doesn't have to be the case with you. Our world is changing. Allow us to change with it. So I've talked about a lot on my Instagram being stagnant during this time. Now is not the time to be stagnant. Now is the time for change. We've got Mars and Aries right now, which I'm not an astrologer, but I can feel the warrior, the warfare energy. So you've got two choices over, that's a loud ass airplane. The benefits of when you shoot outside, you like never know what's gonna happen. We've got Mars in Aries, which can be one of two energies. It's this way for like the next 6 months, which is insanity because it typically doesn't stay that long, but there's a retrograde. And again, I'm not an astrologer, but this is like, you can look up Leo King, I love watching, and Star Code, I can't remember her name, but you can look up some of these like awesome astrologers and listen to a little bit more on Mars and Aries. But what I know from it is that Mars and Aries has two energies. It can be the warrior, we can be warriors of light, or we can go into warfare. So the shadow side is warfare, the light side of that is warrior of the light. So what are you going to choose? What are you going to be? And I again, I like the darkness. I can flip-flop back and forth, but I am working very, very hard on keeping myself pure, keeping myself grounded. That way I stay in warrior of light energy and don't go into warfare. When I tried to shoot this video a couple of weeks ago, I was in warfare energy and I was fighting with myself on, oh, who am I going to expose? Who am I going to say was physically, beating the shit out of me and mentally beating the shit out of me? But I decided that was not, that's not warrior of the light energy. And I want to be a warrior of the light and stay on that side of it. So careful in the next 6 months because you've got a choice on those two energies and you want to stay in the warrior of the light and not go into warfare. You also want to be kind to your neighbors and stay in unity consciousness. It is okay to have different opinions, ideas, thoughts about things, and accept that about people. It's fine. Warrior of the light, not warfare. So really concentrate on unity conscious. Be a kind ear to listen, or send somebody positive thoughts, even if you just do it mentally. Sometimes we just have to hold mental space for people. Here come the indigos. So one of my favorite topics to talk about is indigo children, because when I had a psychic medium tell me about 12 years ago that I was an indigo child, and I started Googling and I started reading about all of the attributes of an indigo child, I was like, yes, this is me. This is why I felt like a weirdo my entire life. How has no one told me this until now? So we came in heavily in like the 70s, 80s, and even early 90s. That's because God Spirit Universe knew that there was a heavy shift coming, and that they would need warriors on the earth side. Indigos are warriors. We take no crap. We don't conform and fit well into things. Like, you would look at me and think like, oh, she probably like fits into everything, like what, just whatever. No, I actually don't, because I can't stand boxes. And I'm like, no, can't we do things differently? Like, why do we have to be the same? Why can't we be different? Can't we be extra? Can't we do things in a way that's ethical? Ethics is huge to indigo children. So you can't work for a corporation that is not ethical. You can't stand unethical things on the internet, which we're seeing a lot of now. Again, 2020 clear vision. And And you just really cannot fit into a box as an indigo child. Now we are adults. But God's Spirit Universe knew what they were doing when we were all incarnating in round about the same time, because here we are. We are needed. We are now going to be the gatekeepers of the new earth, and we're going to protect it, and we're going to help usher it in. We're going to help usher in the new earth. How powerful is that, to know that your oddness, your weirdness, your strangeness, your inability to keep a regular job or a 9-to-5, whatever, bullshit. How powerful is that, to know now that that's because that junk was all going to fall apart? Like, how many of us had 9-to-5 and they fell apart? Because that's not a paradigm that works in the new world. So we came here to be the ushers. We came here to hold space and to be reverent and to be light, to usher in the new earth. If you are not familiar with indigos, I'm not going to go into it too much today, but Google it if that calls to you, and you will learn about yourself. We're here to break conditioning. We're here to break those voices that tried to break us. We're here to let it go. We're slicing cords. In my Ifa shamanism video that I released last, Jen was talking about how she was going to go do a machete ceremony because she's cutting cords. We're cutting these ethereal cords that don't serve us, that are BS, that go into the old paradigm that's crashing and burning right now. How many of you are how many of you are like me and you are just pretty much like, yeah, I learned nothing in the however many years I spent in school. I did learn when I went to a trade school for cosmetology, but in the other time it was like just social hangout, like, yay, I get to go see my friends. How many of us really learned something that was going to like propel us in the quote unquote real world? We did it because it's a broken system. It's a broken system that needed to fall apart so that it could be put back together better, more fitting, more nurturing. So much of us with our childhood, we weren't nurtured in the way, especially those of us that grew up in the 80s, like, just keep your mouth shut, be quiet, go sit in the corner, you're grounded, because they didn't want our voices to be heard. But that is why we're so strong. That is why we went through everything that we went through, because now we're in a crisis and we got to come up and we got to come out and we got to rise up. Okay? Self-sabotage. So conditioning turns into self-sabotage. Negative conditioning turns into self-sabotage. That's leaving now. That's no longer serving its purpose. That's headed in another direction. That's transmuting. So your conditioning for the first 7 years of your life, for the first 10 years of your life, let it go. Forgive. My mouth is going to come up with new mantras. My mouth is going to make me $1 million. My voice is going to make me $1 million. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am all that I am. I have the perfect body for what I'm here to do. I have the perfect vessel for what I'm here to do. I have the perfect face for what I'm here to do. I have the perfect voice for what I'm here to do. I have the perfect hands for what I'm here to do. Everything was put into you as it should. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything is put into you as it should be. Well, that was my next thing. God, Spirit, Universe gave us our gifts for a reason. Often that gift is looked down upon so that you can appreciate it. So if I had like, oh, pro empowerment, you go girl, you can do whatever you want to do in life. You are all that in a bag of chips. Growing up, would I be so inclined to get on the internet and speak it into you? No, I wouldn't, because I would take it for granted. So when you don't have things, you don't take them for granted, and you're able to speak it into others when you come into your power. Coming into your power is one of the greatest gifts that you can give to yourself. One of the greatest gifts that you can give to humanity. Right now, it's all about service. 51% humanity, 49% self. That's an easy split. Just a little bit more to humanity, a little bit less to self, and you will become more abundant than you could have ever imagined. This is funny. So your childhood sucked. That's okay. It sucked so that you can find your power. No struggle, no success is most often the way that it works on this plane, this realm. Why? I have no idea. I think the rainbow kids are gonna get it right. Like the crystals behind the indigo children, the crystal children behind us, and they had it a little easier. Now the rainbows are coming in. I think they're gonna have it even easier. Like, you see how different we parent? Like, my kid is like a little human that I guide. I don't tell him what to do. I don't push him to be something that he's not. I allow. And that's the way every single parent that I personally know is now. We don't try to control. We don't try to manipulate. We certainly don't lie, because we're building the new generation. So what? Our childhood sucks, or it did suck. We fix it by raising our own children consciously. Again, breaking the generational cycles. Your ancestors are over your shoulders telling you they're sorry. Telling you they're sorry that they weren't strong enough to do it. But you are. And now there's 10 of them behind us, 10 of them behind you, saying, I'm sorry. I wish I was strong enough, but you are. You're the key. You're the one. Your parents were coming from their own pain. Hurt people hurt people. I'm going to say it again. Hurt people hurt people. But again, that's where consciousness comes from. I'm conscious, I'm woke. If I start to act like a certain type of way towards my kid, I say, skeet, skeet. I'm not trying to be like that. And then I go to him and I say, you know what, I'm sorry. I, as the adult, I lost control. In your first 7 years of your formidable sponge child self, I am going to guide you in the best way that I know how for you to come into the world and to come into your earthly power, rainbow child. Because after every storm, there's a rainbow. So there's been storms for the last few generations, brewing, exploding, tearing things apart. And now the rainbows are here to continue to heal it. But it starts with us. It starts with the Indigos, the Indigo Warriors. Not worry, W-O-R-R, W-A-R-R, warriors. Because you can feel that in your heart too, can't you? Feel that spirit, like, screw this, things have got to change. You're out on the streets, letting people know how you feel. You're on the internet, letting people know how you feel. Warrior. And you're changing things and you're making shifts. So your parents, the adults in your life that hurt you, really, really, really focus this week on letting go of that hurt in your energetic field. What's a good way we can do that? So you can connect your heart and your throat chakra. Sometimes we need to connect those two to speak the words of truth that we need to speak, to let them transmute, to heal. I do this a lot when I'm working with people privately in energy healing sessions. We connect the throat and the heart. And you can just do this here with me now. Just say, I ask that you connect my throat and my heart so that when I do speak, I speak with love. I speak from my higher self. I speak with my angels on my shoulder, and I speak in a way that changes people, changes their existence. I speak life into them. Just ask for that to be connected. When you speak and when you do things from your heart, you can't be stopped. It's like an unstoppable force, the heart. And the world needs that right now. The world needs you to live from your heart. Remember unity consciousness. 51% humanity, 49% self. What can you do to raise the vibration of your little space around you? Even if it's just holding space and sending those thoughts out to the universe, enough. That's enough. You don't have to get on the internet and speak. You don't have to do big Instagram posts. You don't have to go on a Facebook rant. You can hold space energetically, silently, and send it out. That's what global meditation is. It's just sending the thoughts out to heal. Your lack mindset is programming. We came up in the haves versus the have-nots. It's no longer relevant. So, when you were a child of the 80s, I saw this on something the other day. This is not my original information. We came up in if you had an Atari, you were rich. If you had one of the expensive gaming systems, like a Nintendo, you were rich because they were like, I don't know, $400 or something back then. I remember them being very, very expensive. So then people knew what kind of family you came from, like how much money they had. So the kids that had those gaming systems were considered rich. So that puts you, when you're 10 years old, if you don't have one of those, or if you're not dressing in the Abercrombie, or whatever it may be for that period of time, that means you weren't wealthy. So what did you inherit then? You inherited a lack mindset. Again, where you feel as though you have to go and give up a part of who you are to become abundant in the world. So you go work for and make money for people you don't even like, because we were used to pleasing. We are the pleasing generation. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. You can still have respect and please yourself. So we're now shifting paradigms. The shitty corporations are falling. They're going to continue to fall. Even shitty small businesses are going to fall. Going to continue to fall. And then a new way to do conscious commerce is going to come into existence. And what are we going to do in conscious commerce is we're going to thrive, because that's what we were born for. That's why so many of us struggled so hard. And, the first 30 to 40, let's say 45 years of our life, because we came from the pleasing generation. We're used to pleasing others and not pleasing yourself. Well, now, honey child, the paradigm is shifting. The system is broken. It is time to please yourself. Create things for yourself and humanity. So you have Etsy, you have YouTube, you have Amazon, you have your phone in general, where you can be a consultant in your expertise, whatever it may be. Start creating something, even if it's on a part-time basis, to shift into that abundance mindset and get paid for being you. The greatest gift and the most powerful thing that you can be in this new earth is you, because that's what you were born for. You were born in this time. It is not an accident. Your gifts are special for a reason. So we're dropping the lack abundance, I didn't have the Atari, so I'm never going to be wealthy and abundant. Yes, you are. We're dropping that now. We're letting that go. There's been a lot of fucking people walking by today, I have to say. It's a little bit annoying. So drop the lack, drop the have not mindset, because it's not going to work in the new earth. We're now going to get paid to be creators. We're now going to get paid to be us. You yourself is the gift. And then raise your babies better. Protect them, nurture them, honor them, for they are the rainbows after the storm. I talked about that earlier. These rainbow kids are coming in, conscious parenting, attachment parenting, love on love on love. You can't go wrong with love. Like, you absolutely cannot go wrong with love. They're going to grow up to be so powerful because they're going to feel so secure. And we did that. My people in their 30s and 40s and, sometimes late 20s, like my indigos that are now adults that have been trying to navigate, we did that. We created the rainbows through our pain, through our trials, through our tribulations. Something so beautiful has come up out of that. And you are beautiful and coming up out of that too, even if you're not there yet. So let's do some cards, see where we're looking at. I'm going to take a sip of drink. This is Stur, S-T-U-R. It's made with stevia. I use it to flavor my water. It's so good. As always, I read from the Rebecca Campbell Starseed deck. It's my most favorite deck I've ever owned in my life. I typically let people touch my cards. I do not let people touch this deck. So I'm going to just take one or two cards and we're going to get our messages for the week. I finish each YouTube video with this. If you guys want to get private readings, you can reach me at KrissyVaine.com or KristenEubanks.com. Both link to the site where you can schedule private readings, private energy healing sessions. Please if you like this video, please subscribe. That helps with the algorithm. This is a newer channel, been needing to come about for a long time, but please like and please subscribe because it does help my algorithm. Okay, the first card says Inner Earth. You'll survive this. New solutions and new beginnings. We're being asked to step outside of our comfort zone. The new earth is gonna be your inner earth. Who are you on the inside? You carry your home on your back. The new earth asks for you to step into the wholeness of you. You're gonna come up with new ways, new solutions, new ideas, and we're going to change this world. How amazing is that? So make your inner earth beautiful. Make it something that you would want to share with the entire universe, not just the earth, but the galaxy. Because that's what's going to shift this chaotic energy right now. We've got the chaos versus the coherence on the timelines right now. You want to make your inner earth as beautiful as you can. You can also change the inside of your house, rearrange furniture, anything that you can do to step into the vibrations of, that sounded like a snake. Step into the vibrations of the truest being of you. Ooh! Whale and Orca Elders, share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. So we were just talking about the elders. How appropriate. So the whale and the orca elders are our most wise of our most wise, standing behind us, giving us our little baby pushes to step forward into who it is that you truly are. Share your song. We all have a song of our soul that we're supposed to share. Share your song. And watch your music too. So this is like another thing. Certain frequencies of music are meant to dim us down, screw up our vibration. So make sure your music is vibrationally sound. You can research that on YouTube. I don't know that much about it, but make sure your music is of resonance and you're not listening to all this bullshit conditioning music that's meant to bring the vibe down. And diving deep. Like sometimes you have to dive deep to find out what it truly is that you're supposed to do, because it may seem so far off that it seems foreign to you, but then once you step into it, you're like, oh baby, you were buried. You were buried underneath there from so much conditioning, so much disallowance of self. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked. If you did like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. And remember, forgive, live from heart space, unity consciousness. Don't be fighting with your neighbors. Don't be fighting with nobody. It ain't gonna do anybody any good. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Signing off on Connected with Krissy.